For a minute there, when I was traveling in Asia a lot, I would always run into Mormons, you know, on their quest or their mission to convert people. And I would always like kind of interview them. I was never like an asshole. I was just kind of asking them questions, you know, like legit questions about why they were a Mormon and what got them into like being a Mormon. Were they born into it and blah, blah, blah. And like, I don't know, maybe some of the Mormons didn't like the fact that I was doing that. One time there was this like Mormon graffiti writer and he came out to Frisco and like dissed one of my murals and wrote like, he did a big LDS straight letter on my mural, like Church of Latter-day Saints. And I thought that was hilarious. I had no idea that Mormons did graph, you know? Graffiti's like a fucking dark wormhole that like, or it's like a gauntlet, you know? And if you can survive it, you know, you kind of made it through some shit. If you could survive the graph game and not fucking die or, you know, fucking go to jail over and over and over again, like, I feel like you kind of made it through some shit. Cause you know, it gets you, it's like the gateway crime, I feel like, you know, gets you involved in a bunch of shady shit. I feel like I've just been doing it for too long that I should focus on different things that are gonna actually make me some money, you know? So you're never gonna get anything out of it except momentary thrills, you know? Right now I'm working on a show called 21st Century Sucks. That's the name of the show. It's basically a bunch of images of, you know, how chaotic the earth has become. But there's still like a glimmer of hope, you know? There's always hope. I'm trying to keep it positive out here. Maybe that's why I write Optimist, because it's like a little mantra that I can keep repeating over and over again because I'm so fucking negative. Yeah, it's definitely taken a while and I put a lot of thought and time into it. And I like the message. Just the beauty inside decay and the fact that the world's kind of crumbling, but as long as you are optimistic, you know, like things could work out, but we're pretty fucked right now. Well, this is a tale of the Enola Gay, the plane that dropped the bomb on Hiroshima, and that, you know, killed thousands of people. But I mean, look at the reflections in the wing. It's fucking beautiful. The chrome, you know, like there's something about, I don't know, being alive and being able to like experience color and reflections and part of the human experience, you know, but even though that plane is hella evil, it's still, you know, a beautiful work of art, the chrome plane, and it reflects everything, you know? I just thought that was cool. Fucking war and death and all this chaos around us, but there's still so many things to be thankful for and beautiful about just being alive. You know, that you can experience just stepping out of your crib if you appreciate them. Taking images that are, you know, kind of dirty and gross, but then when you paint them, they become way more interesting and like beautiful in a way because it's painted by a human, you know? We used to use payphones all the time to communicate, and now they're just a dying breed, you know, like an extinct technological animal that's just sits in our memories now. But and I didn't notice this when I painted it, but that's me in the reflection looking down when I took the photo. These are all photos I took, and like the caution wrap, you know, it's kind of a metaphor for the breakdown of communication or like the death of communication with these phones. And like they tricked us into thinking that it's easier and to communicate now, but it's not, you know, like there's so many different ways to communicate now, but you know, it's still not as good as the real thing, like talking to someone. It's broken now, I think, or it's too much. I don't think we were made to communicate like this. So I like that metaphor of the phone. I don't know, dude. I think we're too far gone, kind of, you know. And I moved to Taiwan when I was like 25, and smartphones didn't exist. And you know, and I was talking to my friend about this the other day, like, how did we do it? You know, like, how did I figure that city out? How did I learn Chinese? How did I fucking make friends? But we did this for thousands of years, and now within 10 years, we've forgotten how to live without these devices and the internet. You know, like all that stuff makes it so easy. I remember when I was living in Taiwan, I had a little notebook that I would carry around with me, and like I would draw like, you know, remember wanting to get milk and in my tea or something, and I was trying to say milk, and she didn't speak English, and I drew a little picture of a cow, and she was like, oh, you know, and then she told me how to say milk in Chinese, and then I wrote that down. You know, that's how I learned Chinese, by struggling and trial and error and like thinking. And that's something I like about art, or that I want to continue to like make important to me, is like evolving, because we're always evolving, you know. And I think that art is a reflection of that evolution. And like if you just keep doing the same shit because it's paying the bills, you're not really evolving anymore artistically. But I also think that's part of my like downfall. Not a good formula to make money, I guess, you know. I mean, we all need money, you know, so it's, you gotta find a balance, a medium of like integrity and, you know, paying your fucking rent. Like instead of yearning for something that you don't have and quietly, you know, being scared that you're gonna lose everything you do have, just being happy with what you do have, like, you know, and not being dead broke. I guess that's success to me. I wrote a list about it once. I wrote a list that said things in life that will never get old. Fire, sex, making art, dreaming, laughing hysterically, a cold beverage on a hot day, popping bubble wrap, eating a meal when you're starving, catching a wave on a surfboard, tagging with fat caps, a good massage, the smell of autumn, head rushes, good coffee in the morning, doing acid with your friends, seeing a shooting star, learning some new shit, watching a fire burn at night, falling in love, and traveling to new places. I guess those are things I love about life that just never get old.
Yeah.